One of the knocks on Bergen County has always been it's just too expensive to buy a house here. And we were always able to just kind of push that off because the cost of living is just higher here. We live near New York City and things are just more expensive and people tend to make more money than they do in other sides of the country. But is it getting too expensive to buy a house here in Bergen County? Let's take a look. So thanks for watching. My name is Ryan Gibbons with North Jersey Partners, brokered by eXp Realty. And I want to broach one of the biggest topics that we get around here is it too expensive to live here in Bergen County? And I've never really felt that way because we make more money here. You know, things just tend to be more expensive. But recently, with the pandemic, with the housing surge that we've had over the last few months, I'm starting to reevaluate that. I'm starting to realize that it is becoming too expensive for someone to buy a home here. And the two main factors that are driving that up are the interest rates being at historic lows and the incredibly low inventory that we have found ourselves in. So let's take a little deeper dive into why it's becoming more expensive and, what's really happening here. So to start off, let's talk about some stats. So the big problem here is that, or maybe not if you're a homeowner, is that our average sales price has gone up to $724,000 as of October of 2020. That is a 17% increase over this time last year. Now, obviously, this time of year is usually a more down part of the year in September, October, November, but it is what it is, $724,000. Over the course of the year to date until October 31st, we're at $657,000, and that's a 9% increase. Now, 9 may sound a lot better than 17, but it's still way too high. We're used to seeing a smaller increase year to year, and to see 9%, if that continues, it's simply going to become too expensive. So that is the big side of it, is that the houses are just getting too expensive. So let's look at solds. So in looking at total sales, we have 30% more than we did year to date in 2019. And our inventory is down 29% from this time last year. So more houses are selling. Now we may be getting more houses on the market than we had before, but our overall inventory is continuing to drop. Now, when we have less houses on the market, when we have more buyers, it just becomes harder for people to buy. And I've worked with a number of buyers who have come across numerous over and over again bidding wars. And they go into a house and we look at it, we say, okay, we feel that this house is worth X. And we go in even higher than that. And we're not even competing because people are going way over what the norms were, what the asking prices are, because they need to get a house, or they realize that this is the time for them and they're willing to spend. And unfortunately, for someone who is, hitting the top of their buying power, they just can't go above. And for people that have just scrimped and saved and have gotten just enough for that down payment and for their closing costs, they just don't have enough to be continuing to kick in more to go above and beyond. And it's making it very, very difficult, especially on the introductory level homes, of people that have looked at this and said, okay, the interest rates are so much lower than they were. Now I'm able to afford the house that I actually want. And they just can't get it because it's either not there or they're just getting outbid by 4, 5, 6, 10, 15 offers on some of these homes. So it's becoming very frustrating for buyers. And a lot of these buyers, unfortunately, are giving up. They're just looking at this and they're saying, I've been beaten down too many times and it's just not going to work for me and I'm just not going to buy. And that's the worst thing that could happen with this situation. We don't want to discourage people from buying houses. We don't want to discourage people from creating that wealth that you get long-term from owning a house. And two of the programs that have always been great programs for people that don't have the large down payments are government-backed programs, and they're FHA or VA loans. and they're federally backed loans. The VA loans are for veterans that they can have actually 0% down on a purchase. And the FHA loans allow for down to a 3.5% down payment. And these are fantastic loans for people who don't have $100,000 saved, but qualify. They make enough money. They just don't have enough money to put down. And what's happening is, these loans have always been great products and great for these people to use, but now they're going against people that have 20% down or are willing to go above and beyond. And now, unfortunately, those government-backed loans, those low down payment loans, by many are seen as not as good a buyer as someone else. And these programs should be used. These people should be encouraged to use these programs, and it's just not happening. They're just not able to buy the house with these programs. And like I said, so many people are just giving up. And, it's going to create a problem, I feel, down the road, that there will be less buyers, that these people that are willing to overspend on these houses will be gone. And the people that really want to get into houses are not going to be able to do so. So we've seen an incredible increase in the amount of sales, and now we're seeing prices continue to rise at an unhealthy level. And eventually it has to stop. Eventually these numbers have to start coming down. And when is that going to happen? We don't know. But it needs to be something that we need to look at. And the other side of this is foreclosures. So the government has stopped foreclosures. And in the state of New Jersey, we've seen a drastic decrease in the amount of foreclosures. Unfortunately, we're still seeing, the same, if not more, amount of people that are getting 60 to 90 days behind on their mortgages. Unfortunately, there are people that have been laid off or lost their businesses and just can't pay their mortgages. They're not getting foreclosed on because of the stay on foreclosures, but at some point it's going to happen. At some point, these foreclosures are now going to come on the books and are going to be out there into the market. So instead of having a level amount of foreclosures across the state, now we're going to see a spike at some point in the next year or two when they're actually all processed. And now that's going to help drive prices down a bit because foreclosures don't sell for the same amount as a typical sale. So there's a lot of factors here that are working against our market. Now, it's great right now. If you're a seller, it's a great time to be in the market. It's a great time to be selling your home, and get the most dollar for it. But we have underlying issues. We have the foreclosure issue that's going to be coming at some point. We have prices that are continuing to skyrocket too quickly. We have inventories that are continuing to drop. And it's a concern. Is it going to become too expensive for introductory buyers to get into our market? And it's a sad state of affairs if that's what's going to happen. So it's something that we're going to continue to keep an eye on. If you do have the ability to buy, I always suggest that you do because of the interest rates being so low. If you can get into the market, it's definitely going to be in your best interest over the long term because, studies will always show that a homeowner's wealth is always going to be higher than a renter's wealth over the course of time. So if you're looking to get into a house, I don't get discouraged. Keep pushing through. Keep going until you find that house that works for you. So my name is Ryan Gibbons. I'm with North Jersey Partners, brokered by eXp Realty. If you are interested in buying or selling in our market, please give me a call. My number is 201-685-4788. Love to hear from you. I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video.